All right, thank you for coming back to episode 8. That's kind of crazy to say.
Yeah.
Like we just started. But anyways, we actually have a really special guest for me. I mean, and for Mac, but someone who grew up with me. I mean, as long as I can remember, me and him were playing ball together, and we've been college roommates all 4 years here at the University of Montevallo. But I'm gonna let him do his own introduction. Again, my name's Christian Gallagher,
My name's Mac Turner.
and then this is
Reid Gongwer.
all right. So Reid, just go ahead and tell us. I know everything about you, I think, but you go and tell the audience about yourself, and then if you want to, kind of dive deep into like what you feel like your testimony is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Reid Gongwer. I'm from Chelsea, Alabama, same as CK. There's not really much to me. I love hanging out with my friends, love playing a little ping pong. Going into my testimony, when I was younger, I thought that my testimony was a little cut and dry. Like, I didn't think there was really anything special about it until I got to college. So I would consider myself a devout Christian now, but in high school, what I thought a devout Christian was just going to church on Sunday, reading my Bible. But the more I started hanging around guys that were actually really deep into their faith was when I finally understood that, like, it's not just about what people see on the outside. It's more about, when I'm all by myself, it's kind of like baseball. What you're willing to do when you're all by yourself is what really matters. And that's to me is what makes, a true Christian. It's like, what are your inner thoughts? What am I doing on a daily basis to get closer with God? And I feel like that's something I only started to do when I got to college. And my road's been really up and down. I've had points in time where even in high school and in middle school where I was really close to the Lord. But I feel like at this point in time, I've really solidified that track and I've stayed on it. Whereas, when I got to college, I had a bunch of up and downs. I got redshirted my freshman year. I didn't really know what I was doing with myself, and I lost myself for a while. And that was probably where I found myself in my deepest neck of the woods, furthest away from God, so to speak. But now, all things considered, I'm right where I need to be, I feel like, and I'm working my way to being even closer with him.
Yeah, I want to touch on the whole getting redshirted thing. So I lived with you. I knew, kind of how you were feeling throughout that time. But there's probably going to be other athletes listening to this that might have been in that same boat. Kind of walk them through like maybe some encouragement to that time, because it can be good for you, but there's some times where, you were down.
Yeah. So, just to preface this, I had some of my closest friends with me. I had CK with me. He was one of my closest friends all throughout my life. And even throughout all that, it didn't matter how many like pick-me-ups I got, I still felt alone sometimes. There's going to be points in time where you felt alone, but where I went astray was I didn't find comfort in my Creator. I found comfort in things outside of what I should have that made it worse.
Mm-hmm.
But in the temporary, it made it feel amazing. Like I would chase, and we may make fun of me for saying this. It is kind of funny to say, but like food became a super big comfort for me. The weight room became a super big comfort for me. But then stuff that I shouldn't have been doing, like alcohol, became a super big problem for me, where I would find solace in it, and it was the only thing that I felt like could pick me up on any day. And there's going to be times where, like I said before, you truly do feel all alone, especially in our situation because we came in and there was only 5 of us to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And, we were all super close, but when we would leave, it was just me and it was 2 other guys. And it's really easy to fall into that trap of just, being like, woe is me. But I didn't really use it as a time to actually better myself. I use it as a time to just like kind of fall into a deep, dark trap of like, this sucks. I feel like I've been mistreated. But in reality, you just got to take it for what it's worth. And you got to take every day and just strive to get better, whether that be as a Christian first and then as a baseball player, because that's the biggest advantage you can have.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, I'm not saying our situations are the same, but like that's kind of what happened to me at my last school. Got redshirted as a sophomore, which like you really never hear that. And then, kind of like went off that path. And like the thing was for me, I had people around me that wanted to better me. Like, shout out Tristan Todorowski. Like, he's a Ohio kid. He actually played at Snead State. But like he would invite me over. He would like, I don't know what it was with him, but he was like, I like to call it like primal. Like he was like this guy that was really focused on his health, his faith, and like he would invite me over. We would make breakfast, go work out. and like his big thing was like while we were making breakfast, he wanted to listen to some like Lauren Daigle,
Yeah.
which like at the time I wasn't really like, let's listen to Lauren Daigle.
Yeah.
Kinda like, yeah, I guess you can throw it on. But like some people might be going through those kinds of things and like have people around them. They just like like what do you call it? Is it Christian guilt? Is that what some people call it? Or like whenever you like you should be doing something and you're not, and the reason that you're not is because of I don't even know how to like explain it, but I watched something on it. I think it was Bryce Crawford said something about it the other day. But like that could be somebody's reason of why they're not pursuing.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I thought God's plan for me was to be this incredible baseball player. That was all I had been throughout my entire life was, a really good baseball player. And that's what I felt like my identity had fallen into.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was committed to South Alabama in high school, I had that whole entire route planned for me, and that was the plan. There was never like all right, what's going to happen if I do this? My plan was to go to South Alabama, play baseball, then get drafted and go play baseball for the rest of my life.
No.
And when that got derailed and I came to Montevallo, and keep in mind, this is the best thing that has ever happened to me, showing up to this place and meeting the guys that I have. But at the time, I was like, wow, like my whole entire life is out the window. I didn't really see myself. I felt like I had let God down and that I had wasted my talent. I had wasted my potential. I let my dad down. I let my family down. And that was one of the hardest things that I had to swallow because they had put so much time into me, and I felt like God had given me the ability to go do it, but I didn't see the bigger picture, and that he was bringing me here to meet guys like Mac, which I already met you, but further my relationship with you, and then some of my best friends that I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, no, I definitely think like if now we can look at it at a bigger picture, right? In the moment, it's really hard to see like what, like why you're in this situation. But I mean, even I can look back and think, man, I don't know what your life would have been like at South Alabama. You might have been, an All-American there and got drafted, like you said. But I mean, like when it comes to relationships with teammates and meaningful relationships, like, I mean, I feel like you've created a lot of those here. I feel that way. I mean, I feel like you do too.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a big part of this team. A lot of guys look up to you. When you got in here, did you think that you were going to be in that situation?
Never.
You might not have been that guy somewhere else.
No.
So, I mean, you got to kind of have to see the good in that. I think you are now. So,
I'm glad you came here.
Yeah, I am.
Thanks, Mac. I appreciate it.
To kind of like get things rolling. This is like one of our favorite parts, just kind of here, because we've heard a lot of the same ones. But what is your favorite Bible verse and why? Okay, so my favorite Bible verse, it's kind of bounced around a lot as I've gotten older. It was the cut and dry John 3:16, and then kind of morphed. But I found one really recently, and it's why I'm going to be reading it because I just found it. But it's Psalm 73:26, and it says, "My flesh, my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." So for me, as a guy who's been hurt plenty of times, I've had my fair share of injuries and I've had my setbacks on the field, but I know that no matter what happens to my body, my flesh, that my strength lies within and it lies with him. Really. And it doesn't matter what I put out on the field, as long as I'm giving my 100%, I'm the same as y'all. He lives inside of me, and that's all I could ever ask for. Yeah. Because that keeps me whole.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great way to think about it. And I like that you went a different route. You were kind of talking to me before. You're like, I want to kind of do something different with this part, and I like it. That was really good. So let's kind of take it back to little Reid here, which again, I remember playing with little Reid with the red cleats, but hanging his feet off the side of Dad's car.
I was a nut job.
What's the deal with the red cleats?
I don't know.
There was a kid in preschool that used to wear these red shoes. He was the fastest guy in preschool. His name was Nick Dunlap.
Yeah, and he's now
at Alabama, the golfer that went to the PGA, that's on the PGA Tour now. Okay. Nick Dunlap, if you're seeing this, you wore red shoes. I wanted red shoes to be like you because you were the fastest in preschool. And then I got red shoes and I beat you one time, and I never stopped wearing them ever since. So thank you, Nick Dunlap.
Anyways, I was trying to get with that. It is funny, and we talk about this story all the time. But anyway, yeah, we were blue, and Buddy was out here with red cleats. But I want to kind of get your perspective on what made you pursue baseball.
So, just like all the questions you've asked, it really changed like a lot as I went. So when you're 5 and 6, my dad, shout out Steve Gongwer, he played baseball, loved baseball, and he didn't force me into it. But let's just say I had a bat in my hands.
Where did he play baseball at?
Right here,
Yeah,
good old Montevallo.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer, right?
Yep, All American. But he had a bat in my hand since I was 3. You know, there was an option, but there wasn't really an option, and I'm thankful for that. But it really wasn't my journey until I started to get to high school, and you start mapping out stuff that you are going to have to go do on your own.
Right.
And I would have said that I love baseball. I don't really think that I meant it because, for all of us in high school, baseball comes pretty easily. It's one of those things where, like, if you don't want to work, you don't really have to. And I'm not saying I didn't work hard. I definitely did, but I took it for granted. Now that I can sit in this locker room and, my days are numbered. I still have another year after this, but my days are certainly numbered. I like baseball for the little moments now, not necessarily being on the field. I like sitting in here with the guys. I like cracking a joke.
Yeah.
I like, having coaches that I can talk to all the time. Yeah. And I like the small stuff that, when you're in high school, you don't really think about. Like, I don't remember a single time, to be honest with you, when we were just sitting around. But this is a family here. Like, we come in here. I get here an hour before we have to do anything just to talk to guys and just hang out, play some hacky sack with the boys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think. I said this on one of the pods, but I feel like I've pursued baseball differently from the start till now too. Like, I mean, obviously you don't have a whole lot of reasoning when you're 5 and 6, or even like 6 or 7. Like, you don't know, like really why you wanted to pursue the sport. But then you kind of get into like a more developed brain, and you're like, why am I playing this? Like, I have a choice not to play this, but
I think that I play it just because, like, the enjoyment that I got out of it whenever I was little. Like, even though, like, my dad probably made me play baseball. Like you said, like, grew up with a bat in my hand and then, like, didn't have really an option. But I just remember having so much fun when I was little doing it. Yeah. But that's, like, I don't know why I had so much fun when I was doing it. Yeah.
It's just pure enjoyment. You weren't doing it for anything else. You weren't chasing a stat. You weren't chasing a metric. You weren't chasing.
You didn't even know what they were.
No, the way that I think about it is that you weren't chasing a perceived notion of you from someone else.
Yeah.
Big words.
So like when you when you are playing baseball now and you're out on the field, people are automatically judging you based off how hard you hit the ball, how hard you throw the ball. But when you're little, none of those things matter. Yeah. You're just trying to learn about a game that you find interesting and that you want to pursue. Nobody's getting mad because you're making an error. Well, with our dads, probably your dad, probably. Yeah. But, nobody's forcing you to do anything. You're out there on your own accord, and you're having genuine fun. Yeah. And we still have genuine fun now, but, no matter what we do, it's still going to be kind of a job. Like, we have to come here. We have to be here at certain times. Like, there's always going to be a job aspect to it, but it's not like that when you're little.
I agree.
So kind of sticking on, like, the baseball, like, train, how does your faith impact the way that you compete on the baseball field?
So when I play, I would say that there's a certain fire that I bring. Like, I'm a very intense human being, and when I was in high school, that would turn into like being somebody that I shouldn't be to my teammates, somebody that I shouldn't be to my family after games if I did bad. But now there's still like a fire in me. I still compete with everything that I have, but at the end of the day, you have to understand that you're representing something bigger than yourself when you go out there. I can't go out there and look like an idiot. If I strike out the side, I can't, turn to the other dugout and start screaming at them, because at the end of the day, if that's all somebody sees in me and they know that I'm a Christian, that could turn them away from God, just them seeing me do that. So you have to understand that, like, you are a college athlete. You're going to have a competitive fire about you, but you just have to do it in a way that still glorifies God in everything that you do. Like, Jesus flipped the tables at the tabernacle. Like, he was fiery at times, but he did it in a way that glorified his Father. Yeah, which is what we need to do as well.
Yeah, I love that. So that's how you compete, right? So when you come to the field every day or come to the weight room, like, how do you feel like you express your faith? So God's given us different gifts, and we all kind of do it differently. How do you feel like you do?
Well, I would say that the way that I express it is there's never going to be a day where I take what he's given me for granted. So if I'm going into the weight room and I'm not given 105% of what I have, then I am taking away from what he has already naturally given me and building on top of that. Because he can give me all the gifts in the world, But if you don't build on top of them and use them to better yourself or to better others around you, it's dead. Because like if I'm not in there cheering you on as hard as I possibly can and bringing an energy, which I mean I would like to say that I'm loud, I'm vocal, and that's one of the things that I can bring to the table is being a guy that's bringing energy everywhere that I go. If I'm not doing that, then I'm leaving what God gave me out on the table.
I see that for sure.
All right, Reid. So you're a character, and I think you can admit to that.
Yep.
What does a day in life look like for Reid Gongwer, and how do you incorporate faith?
Well, I mean, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I've been doing a 365-day Bible journey. So I'll wake up in the morning and I'll read that, and then I'm not a perfect Christian. Sometimes I'll sit and I'll reflect on it, but if I wake up a little late, if I'm running behind, sometimes I put that on the back burner. And then I'll get up. I'll usually eat Greek yogurt, some raspberries for breakfast.
Fire.
And then I'll go to class. And then I'll come out to the field. And I would say the field is where I'm mostly, try to exude God's love the most, because when I'm out here, I may not be having the best day, but I would like to say that if somebody sees me, even on one of my worst days, that it's still going to be a positive experience. That's what I try to make out of it. Even when I'm having a bad day or if I didn't have the best day on the field, if I can make that day a positive experience for somebody else, especially somebody that did good, if I can lift them up, then that makes that day a success for me. And then I go back home, and usually I'm eating dinner with my girlfriend. Then if I didn't have the chance to sit down and look over my 365-day Bible thing, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do that. And then usually it's lights out by probably like 9 or 10 o'clock. And then you do the same thing over again.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of gets repetitive in college sports. Like, because we're kind of like, throughout the fall, it's a little bit more inconsistent. But once the spring hits, wake up, class, practice, or game, and then go to sleep. Like, you're so tired.
Sometimes you don't even realize you fall asleep.
I know, you're just like not even.
I do that now.
You're getting old. Like, we're all getting old.
At like 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
How do you fall asleep so early?
I mean, I just kind of did it in the summer because I was at our apartment and like there was nobody there. My girlfriend would visit sometimes, but I had literally nothing to do. So like I would go work out and then I would go throw, and then it would just be watching TV until I went to bed. So like I was just going to bed at 9 or 10. I don't always go to bed at 9 or 10, but I try to keep it at 9 or 10 just because it's gotten to the point now where if I don't go to bed at 9 or 10, I feel like crap even if I'm like waking up at 9.
Yeah.
I try and it just doesn't work.
Well, some people are just like that, Matt.
I just sit there and look at the ceiling.
I mean, you're doing something right.
I'll roll over and I'll like look at the TV again. I'll turn the TV back on.
You just get fired up, don't you?
But he's not giving himself time to fall asleep. But obviously you're doing something right. I mean,
how many hours of sleep do you get a day?
Weekdays I always have to wake up before 9.
It's like
so probably like 6 or 7.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty average, right?
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
I think
I try to get 8 hours.
Anyway, CK's getting 8 hours.
Enough of the sleep talk.
That math did not add up, by the way.
I was trying to fit it in there. I was trying to ook you up, bro.
Yeah, you didn't see him, so I was just.
So Reid, we kind of talked about how your first year here, getting redshirted, was kind of a challenge for you.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, like, what other challenges have you faced, and what got you through that?
I would say it's the same problem, but just kind of compounding on itself. As somebody who is a perfectionist like I am, like I want to be the best at everything I do. With all my injuries and stuff, it's been really, really hard to like be on the back burner for most years, because I'll be the first one to say, like, I haven't played all that much in college. Like, I've gotten a couple of innings here or there, but I'm not a guy that's going to pitch every weekend. And, this year and the coming up year, I want to be a guy that pitches a lot. But regardless of what happens, I try my best to not lean on that and think about that as much. It's more of thinking of it as this whole team. How many guys are going to be on the field at the time? 9.
Yeah.
So what are we all going to do? Me what are we going to do to make the team better when we're not on the field? And because at the end of the day, in 30 years, we're going to remember who played probably. Like, we're going to remember Mac. It was an All-American. And we're gonna remember a lot of guys' things.
Why you gotta do that, bro?
What? I was trying to give you a compliment.
No, I
bro.
mean, yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay.
I just don't like.
It is a compliment. But I lost my train of thought.
What are you gonna do to?
But as a team, we all have to be positive and bring the guys that are playing up. And at the end of the day, the guys that are playing, they just have a different role than me. Like, that's all it is. They're out on the field playing, and then I am there to pick them up when they're having a tough day.
Right.
Because if one of them is in a bad mood and it affects their play, what am I going to do to try to build them up? And it all goes back to Christ's love. Like, if I can do that while I'm not playing, then that helps them do it while they play.
I think being a good teammate, like, obviously, yes. Like, I would say that you're a prime example of being a good teammate, but also part of being a good teammate is whenever somebody's trying to be a good teammate, being able to absorb what they're saying.
Yes.
Instead of like,
yeah.
Because, I mean, I've done it. I'm sure y'all both have done it. Of like, whenever somebody's talking to you, like, say you, like, I went 0 for 5 in an inter squad last year, and I have people like coming up and talking to me, and I'm just like, dude, get out of my face.
No.
You gotta just stop talking to me.
Yeah.
But that's me personally, I think that's a bigger challenge, because for like an everyday player, they feel like they have such a weight on top of them that if they don't perform, it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to get my spot taken if I don't perform. It's more of like, I'm letting this whole team down by not performing.
It's a feeling of like it almost sounds bad that I feel bad for the person. Like, if it were me, I'd feel bad for the person underneath me, because I feel like they would want it more than me at that moment.
Right.
I think that's a perfect way to put it. I mean, what am I supposed to do with my hands?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Just put them down. Okay.
So, this is kind of a question that we normally get, like, a pretty cliche answer to, but I think that you're going to have a great answer to this. Or maybe not. Do you have like a mentor in your life that's kind of like played a big role in your walk with God?
I think I think this is a double edged sword for me. Because first off, I'm going to say my mom, just because she's always been there. She works in the church. So it's one of those things where, like, she knows a lot, like, knowledge wise. If I need to go to her to ask her a question, she knows it, and she's on top of it. She showed me what it's like to be a true follower of God. But on the other hand, if I were to take a male figure, because I love you, Mom, but at the end of the day, like a woman for us, they're not going to have all the same struggles and that's not a problem. It's just they're not going to face the same struggles as men do. But the man that I would say that probably helped me the most in the church was Joe Williams. He was my youth pastor he wasn't even my youth pastor at the time. In 6th grade, I went to a fall retreat with my church that, like, changed my life. And I may have had my ups and downs after that, but that's where I first knew that this is real, God is real, and He has a plan for me. And I think the reason was because of Joe, because Joe knew all my flaws. I was super close to him. He knew everything about me. He knew my family's past. He knew everything. And no matter what, and this went for everybody at the church, he included them, he accepted them, and he made you feel like you were the most important person in the room every single time you stepped into it. And if I had to say that there's a person I try to act like, it would be him, because I'd never saw that dude have a bad day. And he was an athlete. He did track and field at Alabama, so he was super helpful also in like the athlete portion of it. And I haven't even spoke to that guy 5 to 6 years. He works at Church of the Highlands in Tuscaloosa now. But whenever I look back to somebody who really influenced my faith journey, it's probably Joe Williams.
Yeah, shout out Joe.
Shout out,
Love you, Joe.
I think you do a great job of doing the things that he said that he did for you. So
he did a good job. Shout out Sloppy Joe. Love you, bro. Yeah, you can look him up on YouTube.
Sloppy Joe.
Yeah, he used to do rap videos for our church. Like, he would do like Christian rap videos before they were cool.
That's funny.
And he would do them for our like fall retreats. All of our youth pastors would do them.
So like I know you've grown up in church and you were always part of the church because of your mom. And I mean, I'm not sure if that's great to say just because of your mom, but I mean, she was a big part of why
I
you
know
were
I
there.
always had to be there. I mean, I'm not going to say that I had the option to not go.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have gone most weeks, but there were definitely weeks where she had to drag me out of bed and go.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a lot of people's story. Like I hear a lot of people saying like they just grew up in church because they had to go. Um, like for me, I feel like it was pretty recently, like, my first couple years of college when I really, I mean, maybe in high school a little bit, but when I really like went to church to get something out of it, right?
Mhm.
When do you feel like that kind of switch for you, or has it always been that way? But
No, it really hasn't. I would say when I met my girlfriend,
yeah,
she started making me realize that like I had to find an identity in Christ myself because she is everything that I would want to be as a Christian.
mm-hmm.
She is, I mean, obviously not perfect, but if there's somebody that I put up on a pedestal to like try to be like, it's probably her. Um, she started making me realize like you can't say things and then not
Do it,
act them out every single day.
yeah,
And she didn't force me to go to church. But I started, you know, at first I went to church because I was like, I want to be with my girlfriend. This is awesome.
mm-hmm.
But when I started going every week, I started to find my own identity. And I'll never forget the first week I went with her to Church of the Highlands. There was a message that really struck close to my heart. And from that point on, I knew that, she needed to be a part of my life. God
Mm-hmm.
needed to be a part of my life. And the only way to make that happen was to pursue him.
Yeah.
And he's always going to be right next to me. But if I'm not reaching out for him every day, then I'm going to stay in the same spot. And that's not what I want to do.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of hard for us men to kind of let people take, I don't know a great word for it, but like it's hard for us to be like, yeah, this person helped me get there.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the same thing. Like I feel like my fiance, same way when we were just dating in high school, like she got me there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be humble and know that like there's people like that, and it's not just yourself.
And it's hard as a man who is supposed to be the leader in the household to be able to, in conviction, say that my girlfriend was the one to lead me to that place.
Yeah.
But as a man, you have to be equally yoked to your partner, and
Mm-hmm.
it is hard. Like it's hard to admit when your girlfriend or your fiance was the driving force to get you there. But at the end of the day, look where you are, look where I am,
Yeah.
look where Mac is now. Like I feel like we've all been influenced by our partners to be better men, and that certainly helps.
So how has your sport taught you lessons that you can apply to your walk with God?
So I would say my journey as a Christian has also reflected my journey on the baseball field. And I think there's a lot of things that I can apply from both to make myself better in both. So, and that's not me saying that, one is, or like, obviously my Christian life is way more important than what I do out on the baseball field.
Mm-hmm.
But there are plenty of things on the baseball field that have made me a better Christian.
Right.
Like whenever I have whenever I have a hard time on the field, or whenever, something bugs me or I didn't have the best day, immediately I run to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as athletes, that's one of the most important things that we can do is just, no matter what happens, just glorifying him and falling into him when we're struggling, when we're doing good. Because when you ride those highs and lows, that's when you start becoming kind of lukewarm. And I feel like that's what happened to me in high school was when I started riding those highs and those lows. My lows were really bad. They were super low, and my highs were super high. Like when I would go to, and I feel like this happens to a lot of people, but when I would go to church retreats and I would dive really deep into scripture because I had to, I was there. I felt super duper close to God, and then I would leave and I would be like, what the heck happened? Like I was so close, and now it just feels like he's leaving me. But in reality, it was just, I wasn't putting in the necessary time to, really understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
And there was really no middle ground ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was either, high or low.
Yeah. It's really hard to ride the highs and lows. Like you're just emotionally, like it's tough whenever you're I mean, like you can't even really um like have a good time in the highs because you know that like next time you find that low, like you are going to be so like just down bad.
And you're scared to fail.
Yeah.
It's a fail, like you're scared to fail in Christianity.
Yeah.
You're scared to fail on the field. And then when you're judging yourself constantly, it's super hard to just be in the moment.
All right. So Reid, I know you've watched a few episodes, so you kind of know what we like to end on with our guest. And that's what does victory mean to you? Just to kind of, I say this every time, but basically what we think victory means and what we have used the name victory for our podcast. The meaning behind that is when you finally give your life to Christ, when you know Jesus is Lord and He died for your sins, that is victory. So walk us through what you feel like victory means.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that. I would say that I agree with that wholeheartedly. If I had to switch it up, though, this is what I thought was probably the best thing to go with. Victory means no matter what happens, victories or any losses that you may have, that I always have an eternal winner in my corner. And so the way that I like to put it, it's kind of weird. I kind of think of God as like a cut man in boxing. So like you're going to be facing the devil. He's your opponent always. And God's going to be there when you are taking, knockout punches like what we were talking about, like just somebody's ragging on you all day. That's the devil. And when you go back to your corner, God's going to be there to patch you up. He's going to be able to dust you off and be like, hey, you can take this next round no matter how many rounds that you go. Yeah. And that's your whole life. Whether or not there's easy rounds, hard rounds in between, he's always going to be right there. And a little extension of that, I kind of like to think of your friends, even like the ones who are the most centered in Christ that you can think of. They're like your trainer. They're there to kind of, show you the ropes, pick you up when you're struggling, maybe show you what to do in terms of Christianity. But the only one who will ever actually be there while the fight's going on that you're talking to is going to be your cut man directly. You may get a couple, in your ears from your trainer, but the only guy that's going to be right there, God, is your cut man. He's going to be there to patch you up and stuff like that.
That's a great way to look at it. Like, but you have to allow him to be your cut man, right? And when you do, like, think about what the devil feels like. He's having to fight you, and you got the best guy in your corner. That's like a great way to think about it. And there's so many ways you can use that analogy in life.
It's like Rocky IV.
Yeah.
Just like Rocky IV.
Just like
Ivan Drago. He's bigger. He's stronger. Because whether or not we want to admit it, the devil's real and he's strong. This is his domain. Like he is going to be able to tempt you in any way that he sees fit. And when you're going to have people that beat you down, like when Rocky was training for it, and it's a funny way to put it, I know, but when Rocky was training to go fight him, or Drago, he had plenty of people saying like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you doing the things you do? And it's just like how we talked about earlier, when you are a strong Christian, there's going to be more like pushback from people that you thought were your friends, thought were close to you. But you have to believe, as well as your team, your trainer, your cut man, God, you have to believe and leave it to him that, you're going to win that fight. When when that bell dings at the end of your life, that you're going to be the one with his hand held up and you're going to walk. And it kind of makes me emotional talking about it. Think about it. You're going to walk with your hand held high straight into those golden gates and to spend eternity with him.
Yeah, that's a good picture.
I like that.
I feel like we need to put that on a t-shirt or something.
Just give me a little bit of credit. I want like 1%, and then you can put my name in like little block letters at the bottom of the t-shirt.
I'm sure this guy can probably design something up, man.
I'm sure.
No, not me, bro. I need to get like somebody else.
You can make like a cap cut.
Cap cut.
Or Jesus, like as your cut man.
I'll work on it.
This guy's a cap cut whiz.
No.
Yeah.
Not me.
So
like all this kind of ties back into Max said this one time about like being one of God's greatest warriors. What was your motivation?
Being God's greatest warrior is going to bring the devil's going to bring like even more challenge to you.
Yeah, and I feel like that's when you have to have that just yes mindset. Like, yes, God, I'll do this. Like you kind of spoke on.
Yeah, it's like the 1 second decision.
Yeah, 1 second decision. Like, I'm going through this. I'm not going to even question why God's doing it. I'm just going to say yes to it. Because whenever you do grow closer to God, it's just going to happen naturally. Like you're going to come across a lot of challenges, and you may not. You may not. Everybody's life looks different, but I mean, I've heard multiple people talk about it. Like you start seeing these different challenges in your life. But it's like Job, like just getting constantly tempted by the devil and having everything taken away and stuff like that. Like you can apply it to your own life.
Because you're gonna get a couple knockout punches throughout your life.
Yeah.
Like if you talk to anybody throughout the course of their life, you were to talk to any, one of your grandparents, they can name at least 3 to 4 times when they thought or when they knew their whole world stopped and stood still. Yeah. And those are the times that you have to lean into God the most. Not that you're not leaning into God all the time, but when you're on the floor and you have 10 seconds to get back up, there's only one person that can give you the strength to do that. Yeah. And it's easy for me. It's just easier to tie it into boxing because I've thought about it a lot recently, and it helps me move forward. If I kind of think like you were saying with the compete factor, it's easier to think it's like a competition between the devil, the people that say that I couldn't, the people that said that what I was doing was way over my head. It's an easy way for me to like kind of compete with myself and with the devil. It's like you're not gonna get me.
Right.
I got the strongest guy in my corner. There ain't nobody that can stop me now.
Yeah. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and I truly believe that, and that's a great way to kind of live your life when you start going through these trials. I mean, you're gonna go through them,
and we're approaching. I mean, for us, we're approaching what's going to be probably one of life's greatest challenges. Like going out into the workforce. It's a brand new, set of scenery. You're gonna have to make new friends. Like the friends will always be with us, but you're gonna have to make new friends, new challenges, starting families for this guy right here.
He's about to get married.
Yeah,
about to get married.
Big fiance guy. Yeah. But that's gonna bring on a whole new set.
Shout out Maddie, bro.
That's gonna be a whole new set of challenges. Though.
She listens all the way through. That's
like all the way through.
All the way through.
To the last second.
All the way to the last second.
Her fiance is on the podcast.
Fiance.
Yeah.
Fiance.
You got so cringy when you pop that ring out.
I got cringy?
Mm-hmm.
I think I got older.
I can't wait. Can't wait until you're married.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't even said this part, and I've been meaning to do it. He's one of my groomsmen. This guy, hey. That's how close we are. Like, seriously, I'm not lying. He's one of my groomsmen. He's gonna be. What? Tell him what you say you're gonna do whenever I.
Are you gonna keep that?
No, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
I am gonna cry. It's been 20 years. Actually, no. I've known Maddie. I've known you longer than I knew him.
Yeah.
And
that's real.
I've been there for y'all's whole entire little shindig. So I feel like I'm pretty. I feel like I'm pretty. I feel like I'm pretty invested in this process. And like we got to get y'all married. And I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I am gonna cry because it's sad.
Reid's a filler. Yeah, you're.
We're all getting older, and I'm kind of weak in the knees, and it's like it's just a whole new season of life. And he says he's not gonna let me touch the mic. If he lets me touch the mic, then he's gonna cry. So,
laugh.
He may laugh a little bit, but then he's gonna cry again.
So talking about grabbing a mic, this guy loves getting on the mic, especially towards the end of the podcast for Mac motivation.
All right, so we're kind of talking about trials and tribulations throughout this whole podcast, and I'm going to keep this short, but I'm a big fan of Jameis Winston. I like what he does. I like what he's bringing to the NFL. And I was scrolling through TikTok, just like I always do, like because I'm just glued to my phone. But scrolling through TikTok, I'm watching Jameis Winston TikToks, and I'm watching him be people's lights, because like I would consider him like one of mine. Like I feel like I watch him, and like not always just for the football factor, but I watch him because like if you think about it, like he's a third string quarterback in the NFL, and like I'm sure that he brings so much joy to that team. But I'm watching him as he's playing for the New Orleans Saints, and like there's like this drill that like normally running backs use them. But so you run through, it's like a tunnel with like these pond things that are sticking out, and like they're not soft. Like I don't know if y'all ever touched them, but like they're not easy to run through. But I'm watching these running backs run through it, and they're just running straight through it. And then I watch Jameis Winston kind of like hype himself up, and then he starts running through it, and like he's just bouncing off each side, just like a pinball. But that's like because I was in that state of like of watching him and being like watching him for like the Christian attributes that he has, and then I saw that, and then it came to my mind of like it, Christianity is like you're walking through a tunnel and like there's just these doors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these doors, when you're walking down this hallway, I guess would be a better way to put it. These doors are gonna open and they're just gonna like throw things at you, and like some things could be really good, and then some things could be like terrible.
Yeah.
But like earlier we were talking about like riding the highs and riding the lows, but you got to kind of keep it even keel throughout the whole thing. Like you got to walk through that hallway and kind of just take what you're getting, and like if you get something good, you kind of just got to be like, that was something good. If you get something bad, be like, dang, that was something bad, but I got to keep on going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
And you got to get to, because at the end of that tunnel down there, there's going to be some golden gates that you're only going to get through, and then you're going to be like, let's go.
Let's go, made it. And like Reid said, you're gonna be like Rocky and be like,
Rocky.
You're gonna walk
You're gonna
just
jump
like this.
Top of the thing, up the stairs like this.
thank
But
God.
thank you, Jesus.
Is that all you got? It was good. I'm just,
Yeah,
I didn't.
yeah.
I didn't know if you had any more to say. I thought it was great.
Somebody probably doesn't need to hear this. Jesus loves you.
Jesus.
I didn't know what you were doing for a second.
That was not scripted.
It was. Is that what? It's what it says on the back.
Right, hold on. Dude, that's not even what it said.
Whatever.
But thank you, Reid. I'm sure she got some words that he wants to say on camera.
Yeah, man, dude, you're awesome.
Oh, thanks, man.
No, seriously, you did great, and you know, I say this every time, but the words you said, they're gonna touch somebody. Like somebody's going to be hearing this, and they're gonna relate to you. So I'm feel blessed to be able to give you a platform to be able to express yourself in your faith. But yeah, again, if you're made it this far, we're gonna kind of throw Easter egg in there because we haven't been doing this the past couple pods.
But I think that the one we did it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So if you watched this far, we're gonna go ahead and tell you next episode. It's just gonna be me and Matt. So it's gonna be
it's gonna be a cool episode though.
It's gonna be a great episode. We're gonna kind of answer some fan questions, so that's gonna be sick.
Fan? Is that a good way to put it? Fan?
I don't know, like what?
Some brothers.
Some brothers.
No,
questions.
some questions from the family, from the Victory
like
Podcast
that.
family.
I like that.
I like that a lot better.
We got some good ones. I'm sure that we're gonna put the link back out at some point.
Yeah, we'll put the link back out.
Get some more questions if anybody has any.
But yeah, no, if you are to this point and you heard us say that, DM us, text us. I mean, you know, maybe give you a
give me a hug, whisper in my ear.
Do it. They work hard. They work extremely hard at what they do from an outside view, looking at it. So help them out.
And I wouldn't be able to do it with this guy.
I wouldn't be able to do it with this guy, and then this guy, and then whoever else is in this chair.
Yeah.
And that guy.
Hey.
Anyways, thank you. And if you're not following us, please follow us. If not, that's totally fine. I'm glad
you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to, but if you want to, that'd be great. But anyways, Mac, cut us out.